Sinabi ko yan doon. Yes po.
Dito sila gumawa ng PowerPoint ko.
So we'll check sir kung dito na. Ilan po sir?
I-check mo nga si Ricamono kung nandiyan na.
Yes, sir.
Commander Ricamono.
Tapos siya, nag-have some
Sir, pag-okay ng coffee? Pag-okay ng coffee?
Okay na. Hindi ka naman kayo lang.
Ganun. Kaya sabi nila, yung, sir, nag-jump up ng chest ko. Mamadali ka rin. Dahil ano yung pinag-pinag nyo? Pero may ano rin yan, mga prior to nito?
Yung pangyayan, yung agreement on the facilitation of the return benefits. Yung mga kanina. Ay, pre, this is Commander Ramon. Siya ang
Do you need to set up this PowerPoint?
Ano?
Nakaset up na doon sir. Just like sir. And then quick one. The city gave every report about what we're doing. Sir, this is the mission of our commanding general to make this the premier institution for senior officer education. And he would like us to cater to reservists as well. Nice. We do not be apologetic anymore. And he would like this to spearhead the advance of information technology in the Army, and modernization, and advocate nationalism. This is the vision. And we are guided by these three goals, sir, to facilitate the personal development of our officers, to deepen the understanding of the nation, and extend military competence. Three major areas for senior officer education. And these are the skills that we are developing in the college, the officer's conceptual skill, his competence in different fields, and his ability to communicate, to provide functional and modern facilities, develop a responsive curriculum that will educate and turn out our leaders for the future. And this is the development strategy of the college, update our curriculum, motivate our faculty, modernize our facilities, expand information technology, and be more selective in our students. And as far as curriculum sir is concerned, our emphasis is more on learning, not on grading. It's a graduate school approach. We've changed our grading system into just like AIM, A+, A-, B+. We have emphasized ethics, leadership ethics. We have introduced modern warfare, view of our organization, the operational art, joint operations, and the role of the officer as an agent of change or reforms. We have motivated the faculty through the establishment of a foundation. This is a guidance of CGPA to come up with a foundation that will source professorial chairs, research support, donations from friends of the Army. And the Army has also classified positions of commandant as positions of major responsibility. Something which was not the case before. As commandant, sir, the position did not merit a higher than triple F award before, but now it's already recognized. We are also getting officers invited from foreign schools. So it's an assistant class. On facilities, we have modernized our lecture hall. That's where we're going to talk this afternoon. We have renovated our students' quarters, international standards. This is one of the 6 syndicate rooms that we have. This has a built-in cable TV. We have 2 computers per syndicate room. And tables are of imported technology, copied from our Australian classrooms.
It should not be a permanent.
This will be set.
In Manila, sir. And then what's the CGSC will be in Manila. Sir, okay kayo, sir.
CGC will be Manila.
Kasi yung mga resource speaker, sir.
Nandito.
Gusto niyan Mariano sa distinguished guest lecturer this afternoon, Ambassador Fortunato Abad, Acting Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Major General Emilio De Leon, our Chief of Staff, Philippine Army, Brigadier General Escarcha, General Tupilan, General Cabusao, distinguished members of the Army General Staff and Special Staff, Colonel Guang of the Singapore Embassy, our Defense Attaché of Singapore to the Philippines. In behalf of Class 03-98 and the members of faculty and staff of the college, I'd like to welcome you all this afternoon and thank our distinguished guest lecturer for honoring our invitation to address this class on a very important topic, the Republic of the Philippines and the MILF peace talks. This activity is being held in line with our professional enhancement program of the college, which aims to reinforce the classroom instructions related to this subject. As future commanders and staff, we believe that it is essential for our students to be aware of the higher affairs of the state and relate it to the accomplishment of their military missions. Knowledge on this subject, on these peace talks, is crucial to the proper discharge of the field commander's responsibilities. To formally introduce our guest lecturer this afternoon is Lieutenant Colonel Alex Llano.
Our distinguished speaker, the Acting Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Major General De Leon, the Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Escarcha, General Cabusao, General Tupilan, College Commandant Colonel Adan, the members of the HPA staffs, Colonel Guang, the Military Attaché of Singapore, the CGSC faculty and staff, members of the CGSC Class 03-98, gentlemen, good afternoon. In our quest for lasting peace in Mindanao, the government of the Republic of the Philippines, or GRP, is currently holding negotiations with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF. Despite intermittent armed clashes in the recent past, both parties have thus far shown readiness and sincerity in resolving substantial problems. As senior officers, we are not only expected to be well informed on this national issue, but more importantly, to become active partners and participants in bringing about peace in southern Philippines. Accurate and timely information on the efforts of the GRP and the MILF to reach a negotiated settlement is essential for us to better appreciate and grasp the workings of this peace process. I'm honored to have a highly respected and most knowledgeable source who will share with us valuable views and insights pertaining to the GRP-MILF peace negotiation. Our distinguished speaker has spent most of his life in the military, part of it in the field of diplomacy. In the AFP, he rose from private as a teenager in the resistance movement against the Japanese in World War II to become, 3 decades later, the commanding general of the Philippine Army. He was the newly designated Army Chief when a bunch of dashing P2LTs, I do not mean probationary second lieutenants, but perplexed second lieutenants, including then Second Lieutenant Fojas, who reported to HPA in March of 1976. In fact, then Second Lieutenant Maclang and Second Lieutenant Bayona, who are here as our college members of the college faculty, served later as our guest EDICAM. Our distinguished speaker could be said to exemplify the warrior, diplomat, statesman rolled into one. After his graduation from the Philippine Military Academy in 1951, he joined the Army and held various field and combat commands from second lieutenant at the platoon level to the rank of brigadier general as commander concurrently of the 3rd Infantry Division in the Visayas and the Central Mindanao Command, or CEMCOM. Some of our gallant classmates here had served under him as platoon leaders during those fateful years in Central Mindanao. May I now request those officers who have served under him during the... Thank you. War as a lieutenant with the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea, or PEPTO. Our guest is also an experienced diplomat, having served as military attaché in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and as the ambassador of the People's Republic of China. As a military officer, our guest took courses in the management of conventional and unconventional warfare in various military schools here and in the United States. He earned his Master's in Business Administration degree at the Ateneo de Manila University Graduate School of Business and took a non-resident course in management of national security at the U.S. Armed Forces Industrial College in Washington, D.C. He received various decorations, most noteworthy of which is the Distinguished Conduct Star, the country's second highest military award for acts of conspicuous courage and gallantry in the conduct of the pacification campaign in central Mindanao in the 70s. He retired from the active military service as a Major General and Commanding General of the Philippine Army in 1981. Upon retirement, our guest held various civil government posts as follows: as Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Administrator of Veterans Affairs, Undersecretary of National Defense, and Deputy Director General of the National Security Council. An accomplished military professional and a true leader, it is not surprising that without his knowledge, the study of our guest's life and career has been assigned to one of our classmates, Lieutenant Colonel Yap Ching, in our senior leader studies. One of the very few Filipino commanders included in said study of senior leadership. Our speaker is married to Corazon Bulatao, a former public school teacher of San Carlos, Pangasinan, and blessed with 6 children, 4 boys. 2 are PMA graduates, one of whom was killed in action as an Army second lieutenant in Samar in 1979, while the other is Lieutenant Colonel Tikman's classmate. Lieutenant Colonel Tikman. and the rest of Class 77. And 2 girls. One is happily married to the classmate of Lieutenant Colonel Ibrado. So gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished speaker, the chairman of the GRP panel negotiating with the MILF and the secretary-designate of the Department of National Defense, Ambassador Fortunato U. Abad.
Thank you, Colonel, for your very generous introduction. In fact, I have been thinking about you to get you at the Department of Defense. They say that you are here now with the Class 03 of the Command and General Staff College of the Philippine Army. So I'll just be waiting. I hope I'll still be there. Colonel Adan, the commandant of the school, General De Leon, who is also a member of my joint monitoring committee in the implementation of the GRP MNLF agreement of 1996. General Scarcha, the chief of staff, the distinguished members of the general staff of PA, and gentlemen, the military attaché from Singapore, and gentlemen of the command. I really prepared for this when I was asked by Colonel Adan to speak before you on this GRP MILF talks. In fact, in the letter of invitation, I was asked to also talk about the CENTCOM campaign and about the book that I wrote on that campaign. But then, since the topic is GRP MILF peace talks, then it makes it easier for me to do it. Can we jump to the GRP MILF? Tingnan mo nga. Alasin mo na yung kung dyan. Peace talks. I was appointed upon resignation of Ambassador Yan from the GRP SPAG panel last year, October 1st of 1996, to take over the place of Ambassador Yan as the panel chairman. And the task that I was given was to negotiate with the MILF, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. At the start, many of my friends in Mindanao as well as here have been telling me that it would be quite difficult to be talking to the MILF because of the fundamentalist nature of this organization. And compared to the MNLF, which is secular in nature, in its organization, the MILF is a very religious organization, headed by a religious man, Asim Salamat Asim. And almost always, this man, Asim Salamat, could not be located because he is supposed to be a recluse. Several times I asked Governor Nur Miswari about the whereabouts of Salamat Asim, and he said, you know, Ambassador, I really do not know also. I don't know whether he is in Egypt or in Pakistan or just here in the country. But I understand he is sick, he said. But anyway, regardless of where he is and what is the status of his health, he is still the principal of these GRP MILF talks. The MILF negotiating panel is headed by the vice chairman of the political affairs of the Central Committee, Gansali Jafar. And there are two committees that we have agreed to organize under our panel, and one of these is the Committee on Agenda Setting, which is headed by Professor Moner Bachunay. The other committee, the Committee on Cessation of Hostilities, is headed by Attorney Lanang Ali. Unfortunately, Lanang Ali had his operation and he is quite indisposed all the time, every time we meet or we are in a position to meet with them. And therefore, he was changed permanently by Attorney Omar Umpar. This is the Vice Chairman of our political affairs of the MILF. He is also my counterpart, designated already as the chair of the panel of the MILF. As you will note there, he used to be the rebel governor in the province of Maguindanao, where you can read all of those. He is a more of an information man. And during our campaign in the SEMCOM during the early 70s, he was in Sabah. And he used to be the one to deliver speeches or remarks against me and against the armed forces, against the SEMCOM, the Central Mindanao Command people, through Suara Malaysia radio. Suara Malaysia is Voice of Malaysia. And this is beamed from Sabah to Mindanao. Moner Bachunay, the chairman of the subcommittee of agenda setting, is a religious man also. He used to be the chancellor of the Mindanao State University in General Santos. He is the legal counsel of the Mindanao, of the MILF. Next. This is Lanang Ali, Attorney Lanang Ali. You know, there are several, the people who are facing us in our talks, at least still at the committee level, are professional people. There are two or three lawyers, 2 PhDs, and the rest have been bureaucrats, members of government in Lanao and Maguindanao. And these are the very people we have been fighting also, who used to be commanders of the respective units during the SEMCOM campaign, which I commanded in '73. Next. So this is the structure of our negotiations. We have the main negotiating panel. I head the government panel, and Jafar heads the MILF panel, and there are two subcommittees. The subcommittee on agenda setting and the subcommittee on cessation of hostilities. Right now, the one that has been very frequently meeting is the subcommittee on cessation of hostilities. As far as the committee on agenda setting, they are still on the table working out on what kind of agenda will be presented to the main panel later on. Well, you have this already, Professor, but deny it. This is another member, Amir Hassan. Muhammad San Amir Hassan, a staff officer of the MILF in 1992, and now Vice Chairman of Tawi-Tawi under Governor Jerry Matba. But he lost during the last election. Next. This is the present chairman of the subcommittee on cessation of hostilities, Attorney Omar Umpar, a former research attorney in the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel here in Manila, of the Department of Justice, and a legal officer at Mindanao State University. He finished law at the Ateneo de Manila University and passed the bar in 1977. Served as a member of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Lanao del Sur and was elected Vice Governor of also the same province. And currently, he is the chairman of the Save Lanao, Lake Lanao movement, which opposed the operations of the state-owned National Power Corporation plant project in Marawi City. Next. This Datu Ignacio Ikli is not a Muslim, he is a Lumad, he is a Highlander. And he represents the people from the Highlands in as far as our negotiations with the MILF are concerned. Next. Jaime Casimto represents the MILF in Davao. I should like to say that the MILF, formerly the MNLF, the whole MNLF, is organized in 4 provinces in Mindanao. Up to Agusan, we have MNLF representations. The only thing that divided them was last 1984 when the MILF of Hasim, when Hasim Salamat, who used to be the vice chairman of Nur Biswari in the MNLF, splintered out of the MNLF and formed their own Muslim Moro-Islamic Liberation Front. Now this Jaime Casinta is the one who represents the MNLF in Davao, from Davao. Dingan Ali, where we don't have a picture there, also represents the MILF from North Cotabato and Sultan Kudarat. This is the composition of the subcommittee on cessation of hostilities. The chairman now is Omar Umpar, and those are the members of the committee. On our side, the Committee on the Cessation of Hostility is headed by General Jocelyn Nazareno. He is the 4th Infantry Division Commander, and the members come from J7, from legal, from the Army, here we have the legal, and also from the Navy and the Philippine National Police, General Kalida. Well, individually, these are the members of the cessation of hostilities. I-flash mo lang. Sige. That's Tony Falcon, huh? Des Macarandas, a professor of the higher Islamic course at the Jamatul Philippine Al-Islamic in Marawi City. He finished his Islamic studies in the Middle East in the early part of 1980. His studies were sponsored by both the MILF and the pseudo-legal institution of Ikhwanul Muslimin, identified as Talima. And currently, he is the spiritual advisor of the MILF Central Committee and spokesman
for Lanao del Sur. He is the political advisor of the Vice Chairman for Internal Affairs, Alim Adsis Mambatas. Ustads Mangkabong, the Chairman of the Ulama Council in Basilan, is also a missionary and gets financial support from other countries. He was sent to Tripoli, Libya as a scholar and took up the Quran translation at the Islamic Core College. And then he went to Sabah as a missionary and visited Mecca for a pilgrimage. Next. Japalo Jajan is an intelligence officer of the MILF and a staffer of their present publication called the Maradika. Hasim Badawi, alias Boy Hasim, he is a commander, an inspector general of the Bangsa Islamic Armed Force, the IAF. This is a part of the organization of the Central Committee. And here we have Hasim Salamat as the chairman of the Central Committee. In the middle is Haji Murad, who is the vice chairman of the committee and at the same time vice chairman for political affairs. And then the other one is the Chali Jafar, whom I said is my counterpart, chairman of the MILF panel, who is also the vice chairman for political affairs. Iqbal is the vice chairman for information, and then there's the other one, the vice chairman for internal security, who is Aziz Mimbantas. Next. As you will note, our experience in meeting with these people is that our negotiations are slowed down by the nature of the organization of the MILF. Every time an issue crops up, the MILF committee always refers the issue to the Central Committee and gets its approval. And this takes time, you know. And therefore, since the Central Committee is just far out from the place of meeting of the two committees, it takes a lot of time before we can really get a decision from the Central Committee. Unlike the GRP, our group, our panel, I just give the frame of reference to General Nazareno or to the chairman of the Committee on Agenda Setting, Assistant Secretary Lasaga of the Office of the Executive Secretary. He is the chairman. And as far as issues are concerned, I already give them the leeway, the freedom to work within the frame of reference that I have given them. This is unlike the MILF, as I said. The MILF is only there to listen. And after they have listened to the issues, they refer these issues to the Central Committee. And the Central Committee takes a lot of time to decide whether to accept or not to accept the different issues that are propounded during the negotiations. The first meeting that we had last January 7 was the opening meeting of both the Committee on Cessation of Hostilities and the Committee on Agenda Setting. This was on January 7 this year. And since then we have been meeting, and more frequently it is the Cessation of Hostilities that they have been meeting very open. Next. The the first meeting of the GRP MILF committees was held in a MILF territory, and this was in Simway Crossing of the town of Sultan Kudarat, the province of Maguindanao. And during that meeting, 2 meetings were held there, and the one that secured us were 3 battalions of the MILF. The thing here is I agreed to the security that was provided by the MILF, in the sense that we were afraid that some groups of the GRP and the MILF, because they are quite of different structure, and the MNLF is worried that the MILF might get better concessions than the MNLF, and therefore the MILF and us in the GRP were expecting some kind of sabotage for our meetings while we were there in the area of the MILF in Simway Crossing. Now, that is the reason for that, because the MILF knows who are the members of the MNLF who will be able to get and barge into the conference area of the GRP MILF. On July, the GRP and the MILF met. After several meetings, we had the agreement on cessation of hostilities that was signed last July 18. And the subcommittee on cessation of hostilities that met at Notre Dame University in Cotabato City discussed the forging of a general cessation of hostilities instead of tackling the issue of troop repositioning in Buldon. You must remember last January, middle of January, there was a confrontation between the armed forces and the MILF. And the result of that was such that the MILF had to ask for a ceasefire. And here we agreed to get a ceasefire. And so the MILF committee met with us and accepted our proposal on the signing of the ceasefire, local ceasefire in Buldon. Now, what are the provisions? Go ahead. Now, before this, we have the ceasefire on Buldon, and the provisions of the ceasefire is: 1, the MILF will get away from all the road network going to Buldon. Their detachments, their checkpoints will all be dismantled, and they agreed to that. On the part of the armed forces, we agreed that we will withdraw to our original position on our own option, depending on the assessment, our assessment of the peace and order situation. Now, what made this difficult was one provision which says, as is where is with respect to our forces that are positioned there in Buldon. And so we had to resume our negotiations with them, and the result was that there was a deadlock. And meanwhile, during this deadlock, another confrontation was made last March, and perhaps this was what there was a very big propaganda effect on our people, because after the confrontation, they came out that the military killed the children in the madrasa. That is a school of children, madrasa, which is school children, mga malilit, small children. And that was the first thing, and we were quite shocked, you see, that we had to be able to be blamed for for the killing of these children. So we organized the, go ahead. So we organized the, an interim ceasefire monitoring committee, which is a neutral committee headed by the president of the Notre Dame University. And this is Father Eliseo Mercado. By the way, for your information, there are only 2 graduates of the doctorate of Islamic Studies in the whole Philippines. One is Mahid Motilan, who is the governor of Lanao del Sur. He is a doctorate of Islamic Studies. And the other one is Father Mercado himself, who is a religious, well, you know Father Mercado, the president of the Notre Dame University, and he is the one that was charged with investigating. Now, what was the result of the investigation? The investigation showed that it was not the madrasa that was hit by our people, but rather a class of paramedics, ages of 15 to 30, who were, of course, the clinic that they were holding classes that evening was hit, and 11 of them died, including the teacher. And this is the one that was propagandized by the MILF as children of the madrasa, but it was never the madrasa that was hit. On July 18, both panels signed an agreement for a general cessation of hostilities. And here in this agreement, both committees agreed that we will have to stop firing at each other. Second, we directed our cessation of hostility committees to meet on July 30, and for the next 2 months to finish the ground rules for the implementation of this general cessation of hostilities. That will be up to the end of September. When they met last 23rd July, when we met, next one. Last 30 July meeting of the GRP MILF committee, there was a complaint by the MILF that we could not proceed to talk about the implementation of the ceasefire agreement because of the many evacuees in Raja Muda and Pagalungan. Now, the evacuees there was the result of a operation conducted by the military, which was a police operation to go after criminal elements that were undertaking ransom for kidnap for ransom and other syndicated crimes. Now, because of this, the MILF refused to talk to us already at that time. But then we were able to save the situation by, firstly, I had to talk with Jafar, who is the chairman, that we can get back the evacuees to their respective places in Raja Muda and reduce and restore the confidence of the people of Raja Muda and the environs on the government. Right now, Raja Muda is being developed to be a community, a very developed community, which will be a model for community development, which we are going to offer to the MILF. Next. Next. The development efforts in Raja Muda were being undertaken under the supervision of the Mr. Paul Dominguez, who is the Presidential Assistant for Mindanao, and the lead agency is the government of North Cotabato, who is Governor Rosario Diaz. And these plans are now being undertaken, and for the first time since the establishment of these barangays, there will be electrification of these barangays. Before this, not even the governor of North Cotabato could enter the Rajamuda, which is the second biggest camp of the MILF. In one of the meetings of the GRP MILF, the MILF proposed that they should go to Rajamuda and inspect the place and really find out whether the civilians, the evacuees have returned to their places. Because of a report that less than 50% have not returned to their places. In fact, Rajamuda, the residents of Rajamuda, nobody has returned yet at that time. And so General Nazareno agreed that they should go, both committees should go to Pikit and Pagalungan and inspect these places. So on the ocular inspection, Governor Candao, who is the governor of Maguindanao, was there. The representatives of the Office of the Presidential Assistant, Dominguez, 3 representatives from the ICMF, MC, which is from Mercado's team, and some members of the Defense Press Corps, local media. When the committees went there, Mayor Malinco himself, Putin Malinco, was the one who briefed these members of the Cessation of Hostilities committees. You know, one thing that we have found out was that before the meeting, before the inspection, ocular inspection, the MILF met all of these evacuees. And so when the evacuees, when the committee went there, there were already placards there. Withdraw the armed forces, relieve Ambassador Abad, all of those. And when they were asked why they were saying that, they said that all the armed forces should be withdrawn from the area. And this was what the MILF was telling the people to say to the press. See? It was a manipulated statements that was undertaken by the MILF through the evacuees. But when they went there, they found out that the development has been going on very smoothly. Funds have been released for this, and the schoolhouses that had been destroyed and houses that had been destroyed were already being repaired by the DPWH and some of our engineers. I called up Jafar because they say that the evacuees cannot go back to their respective places. And I said that it is not the military that is the cause of this thing. It is because the evacuees are afraid that they might be caught again in the crossfire between the MILF and the armed forces. Because the evacuees know that there are still MILF armed elements around these areas. And so I asked the panel chairman, Jafar, to instruct all of these people, the MILF, to lay down their arms or put their arms away and not to organize themselves in order that the people will not be afraid of any kind of encounter when the armed forces will go on patrols. The military commander at that time was Colonel Torrelavega, the brigade commander. And when they asked me also, Jafar asked me to have these forces withdraw, we withdrew the military from Rajamuda, but we sent in the PNP. Now, what they really wanted was that only the PNP of Pikit was going to be restored in that area. And I told Jafar, I said, my friend, you want only the PNP picket because you can always manipulate them. They are part of your organization. So do not worry when we send additional PNP elements from the provincial mobile force and from the regional mobile force. This is what worried them, that the picket PNP has been reinforced by two big PNP organizations in the area. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. The seat of government of the rebel, the shadow government of North Cotabato is in Rajamuda. And there is a governor sitting there. And the provincial capital of North Cotabato of the rebels is one of the schoolhouses here in Rajamuda. And this is the reason why the legal governor of North Cotabato, Governor Rosario Diaz, could not penetrate this area. He could only go as far as a certain point, and if he has to deliver anything, goods, commodities, or whatever, for the people of Rajamuda, he will be met only by the MILF, and the MILF will be the one to deliver those goods to the people there inside. Next. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, after this ocular inspection, the committees agreed to meet again. And this time, before they met, I drafted a new agreement. And this is substantially to hasten the return of the evacuees to these places, to Pikit and to Pagalungan. So I faxed this to the panel of the MILF. And last week, the chairman of the MILF came to Manila to see me with his proposals and amendments to this proposed agreement that I have drafted. And so we agreed on this agreement. And today, yesterday, they met. They met on that particular agreement. One provision of that agreement is to withdraw all the members of the military back to their original positions within 15 days from today, because they signed the agreement today. And within 15 days, and that the security of the road, the highway from Cotabato City to Davao City, will continue to be the responsibility of the armed forces of the Philippines. On the part of the MILF, they agreed that all their MILF elements within these areas will all be disarmed. They will not be bearing any arm. They will not position themselves or organize themselves in these areas. And if they are residents of the different barangays here, they can go back to their respective homes and participate in the development of their barangays. This is what they signed today. And I just came from there this morning, and the two committees have already signed this agreement, and they are now on the way to discuss the ground rules for the implementation of the ceasefire, the comprehensive ceasefire. By the way, for your information, the comprehensive ceasefire is supposed to be finished within a time frame of 60 days, as we said. This will be up to September 30. Okay. The assessment now is that the recent major reverses suffered by the MILF may have convinced them that they still cannot fight government security forces in large-scale and sustained military engagement. It is likely that the MILF will shift the struggle from the battlefield to the negotiating table, which they are doing now. The joint ocular inspection of both committees, the GRP and the MILF, was just a propaganda ploy by the MILF aimed at pressing the government to withdraw the AAP forces from the entire municipalities of Pikit and Pagalungan. Fast-tracking of the development of Raja Muda is likely to normalize the situation, and this is what is happening now in Pikit, and convince the evacuees to return to their homes. The problem in Mindanao remains a principal obstacle in the quest for peace and security. It is not only in these areas in Mindanao that we are looking after. We have also the Basilan engagements, and we have the development of the different areas. General Soriano and I, together with Speaker de Venecia and Congressman Datumano, went to Camp Abubakar. This is the main camp of the MILF, and we told them about the intentions of government. In fact, we were telling them that there is nothing that we can do about continuously fighting each other. The best thing for us to do is to cooperate and develop the areas. In fact, we suggested that Camp Abubakar itself should be developed as a model community, and we will provide all the funds for the development of that particular community. And they agreed, and we had resources already. General Soriano was able to get some money for the provision of irrigation in Camp Abubakar, and I was able to get some money also for the restoration of the road going into the Camp Abubakar. At this time, about the 10th or the 10th to the 12th of September, they will meet again to really finalize now the ground rules for the implementation of the ceasefire, comprehensive ceasefire. As you know, on the 15th, I will be taking over already as Defense Secretary, and the recommendation, and I think it has been approved by the President, that General Orlando Soriano will be the one who will take my place. As far as the other recommendations are concerned, it is, I think, General Soriano who is most capable because he has been dealing with the MILF even before. So I brought General Soriano to the meeting yesterday, and I think they are still there. They will be coming back for the final meeting for the comprehensive ceasefire. And this is all. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, we'll have a 10-minute break.
Colonel Tayame.
I don't know if this is also a manipulated statement by the media, but according to today's Manila Times newspaper, Gansali Jafar, the Vice Chairman of Political Affairs of the MILF, claims that there are at least 25 MILF training camps and over 10 major camps across 13 Mindanao provinces, and are preparing and positioning to gain the upper hand of Mindanao's continuing war following a 20-year program for struggle adopted in 1980. Can you enlighten us on this?
Okay. Well, perhaps Gonzales really said that. You know, when you do something for Saiwar, you can always say, blunt your forces, you see. But for me, as far as I know, there is only one camp left, and it is the Camp Abu Bakar. And one of the things that the committees on cessation of hostilities is going to decide is what are these tolerated, the areas supposedly occupied by the MILF. There were suggestions from our headquarters that there are still several areas that are occupied by the MILF. But our commander in the field, General Urgilio, says, wala na, no more. We got already Rajamuda, that is the second biggest camp. That is a camp of one division of the MILF. You see? Now no more, that is no more, that's not anymore. And the only camp that is left is Camp Abu Bakar. That's why I was saying that if we can develop Rajamuda, we can also develop Abu Bakar, to include Burdon already for the development. So, as far as those statements are concerned, I really take them with a grain of salt. But as far as the armed forces is concerned, I think they should think also about that. But myself, as a panel chairman, I do not much believe, that's with tongue-in-cheek, that this is the force that the MILF continue to have. In fact, they are so accommodating right now, and I don't see any reason why that they will still continue to prepare for war. I told them that it is best, since we have already been talking to each other, we have been accommodating each other's thinking, why don't we just stop talking about war, let us talk of peace.
Thank you.
Sir, we have learned from General Reyes about BATNA, meaning best alternative to a negotiated agreement. My question is, what is the BATNA of the government as far as the MILF is concerned? How much concession are we willing to give to get an agreement with the MILF?
You must remember that last year, there was a congregation that was supposedly organized in Sultan Kudarat, the town of Sultan Kudarat of the province of Maguindanao, where they said that millions of people attended this, and this does not include only Muslims, but it included Highlanders as well as Christians, and they were covered by local as well as international media. And the most prominent issue that was being raised there was the solution of the Mindanao problem rests only if we can give them, the Muslims, an independent Islamic state. That was the only one raised. And they say that the Muslims are not Filipinos, they are Bangsamoros, you see. Now, but talking to them and laying the cards on the table, their issues that were propounded to us were really very negotiable. Ancestral domain, pollution of the minds of the youth, which is with drugs, land grabbing, illegal discrimination of the Muslims from with the Christians, all of those things. These are social, cultural, economic problems, issues that were propounded to us. There is no such thing about the political establishment of a Islamic state or an independent state. But I should like to tell you that according to our people, intelligence, and some of the Muslims, what they wanted to do really is they would like to organize or establish a Islamic community within the autonomous region. And I said, easily, that's okay, because even Iglesia ni Cristo, they have their own communities, not? So we can allow them to have an Islamic community within the arm, still under the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country.
As a follow-up, sir, the MNLF with the military, sir.
They have not asked that from us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Colonel Garcia is recognized.
Afternoon, sir. In your presentation, sir, it was manifested that the GRP and the MILF final move will be the comprehensive ceasefire agreement. And having this comprehensive ceasefire agreement, I think will not solve the problem in Mindanao. That may be the beginning. Now, their demands, as you have mentioned a while ago in answering the question of Colonel de Guzman, is to establish an independent Islamic state within the autonomous region of Mindanao. My question, sir, is with Governor Miswari as the governor of the RMM and the SPCPD chairman, do you think you should be also you should decide on have a say on what should be the negotiated in that area, the final decision?
He has a responsibility as far as peace and order is concerned. And I have been in my talks with him, I have been impressing this upon him. And that he should not be directed by the President to look into the peace and order of the area. In fact, he was very happy the last time because there was the media brought out that there was a break in the talks between the GRP and the MILF. And so the President called Miswari and told him to see the Central Committee. He was able to see the Central Committee, not Hasim Salamat, Haji Murad. And they just talked. And there was nothing about what they could talk about, you see. I think that still the MILF is harboring some misgivings on Nur Miswari because of this, they were not taken into consideration during the GRP MNLF talks. And this holds true also with the Magic 8, supposed Magic 8 leaders in Sulu. Now, he has a role here, but the thing is that the MILF do not respect him yet. So it is up to Miswari to show that he is really the leader of the Muslims. But the thing is that Miswari very rarely show his face in Cotabato, where the seat of government is. And he has not really administered and managed the regional government. In fact, I have been talking with Jimmy Matalam, who is his vice governor, who doesn't hold his office in the regional headquarters. He holds it outside because, why are you here? That's what I asked him. Because I'm not given authority by the governor to be in the regional headquarters. There's no authority, and the thing with Miswari is that he wants everything to be centralized. But the thing he is centralized, he is always out of Cotabato. He goes to General Santos, yes. He goes to the different Christian-dominated areas, Palawan, Zamboanga, like that, and trying to cater to these people because his ambition is to enlarge the autonomous region without thinking that there is a damage of this kind of concept because he is not looking after the welfare and development benefits of the depressed areas of the region, the autonomous region. Eventually, he is working for that because by 1999, next year, after 1998, there will be a plebiscite to determine the area of the autonomous region. As I said, the ambition of North Misuari is to get the Davaos, the Cotabatos, the Zamboangas, and Palawan to be part of that autonomous region. Unfortunately, he is getting a problem there. See? Perhaps, as I said, as I was telling the members of the OIC, I told them that it is best for him to show that he can develop ARM itself. Because it is ARM that needs development. It is not Cotabato, it is not General Santos, it is not Zamboanga, it is not Palawan. It is ARM, which is the most depressed area in Mindanao. If we could develop this, then his image will be very good. If we can raise the area, the autonomous region to a development on par with the neighboring Christian-dominated areas, he might still get this, the Christian-dominated areas, because he will be seen as a good manager, as a good administrator. But right now, he's not. The ARM is his problem, because he is not showing his face there.
Next is Colonel Quezon.
Sir. I understand, sir, that the MILF are now ready to come to the negotiating table. And one of the most significant factors that brought them to the negotiating table is the effectiveness of our armed forces. So we are now negotiating in a position of strength. As a premise to my question, after the MNLF, we have the MILF, and maybe after the MILF, there will be another group that will come out. So my question is, how do you assess the role of the AFP in future local conflicts?
Strength. I think our military establishment has impressed upon these forces, the MNLF as well as the MILF, that they cannot tackle the AFP. And therefore, any other, these are two big groups, MNLF and MILF. The rest are just petty, small groups, you see. And if ever you think of Abu Sayyaf is merely a terrorist group. It is something that can be handled by a military posse. It is a small group. But the thing is that as far as the armed forces is concerned, it has already demonstrated its strength. And I think the armed forces now should abide also with the peace process itself. If we have to withdraw forces, then since we have demonstrated our strength, it is very easy. Let us withdraw in just in order to be able to pacify people and get, as I said, the returnees, the evacuees, in order for them to go back. The thing is that we should not be continue to hold territory. We can go back to our camps because they know now that they cannot fight us. If I would like to refer to the time when I was commander of CEMCOM. Within the year of 1973, we were able to restore the different areas that were taken over by the MILF, especially in the Maguindanao and Muslim controlled areas. I read a interview of Haji Murad just last year, and he was saying that he thought that the AFP was that weak because at that time, before I went to Cotabato, there was only one battalion, the 27th Infantry Battalion, and there was Task Force Pagkakaisa, which is a very flimsy organization of PC people. So that is how weak our government forces were. But then the assessment of the MNLF at that time was that they know where these people are distributed, they know how weak these were, and so they launched an offensive, which easily they were able to capture towns and get them in influence of the MNLF. That was I think that is because of the MNLF's downfall also at that time, because they never realized that the AFP can reinforce, can consolidate, as we did. And we were able, from 1 battalion, we were able to raise up to 10 battalions, 14 battalions at that time. See? And they were clobbered. And that is why they stopped. The conventional warfare that they instituted against the AFP at that time was easily broken. And they dispersed into small areas, and they had just small areas controlled in Cotabato at the time. Now, Murad said that they were wrong in their assessment, and they were losing so many people. That's why they stopped fighting the government at that time.
Thank you.
In the presentation, it was shown that the members of the MILF negotiating panel were well educated. And what do you think their strength and weaknesses as far as negotiation is concerned?
What are their relations with government? They knew already that if they would not negotiate, they will be lagging behind the MNLF. And so they asked also for us to talk to them. Meaning to say that if you were the rebel and you will ask me to talk to you, that means to say that you must be feeling that there is something superior in us. That is why you're asking us to talk to you. And perhaps you may be able to get some concessions. That is what they are thinking about. And you must remember, as I said, they are well educated. Head of a university, PhDs, lawyers. You see, all of them, they are part of that particular committees that were negotiating with our own committees.
Colonel Aganon.
Sir, last year when we had the peace agreement with Norway, the MILF came out with the criticism that what Missouri got from the government is less than what the Triple Agreement provided. And they were implying that they would like to have the whole 14 provinces as part of ARM. The most contentious issue really is not what is being negotiated now, but what is the final composition of the ARM. When that happens, I don't think that Christians, the 10 provinces, will vote with ARM. When that happens, that will be our biggest problem.
Well, what he was trying to do is cater to the Christian-dominated areas, thinking that he could win them, and getting development for these Christian-dominated areas, not for the Muslim areas. One time I saw him during the signing of the general ceasefire, the comprehensive ceasefire. He was there together with the Iranian investment group, going to Iligan to establish an oil refinery. I was asking, why not establish the oil refinery in Cotabato or in Hulo, in Sulu? Why in a Christian area? See? So the objective of Miswari was to show himself that he can help the Christian areas, in order that he will be able to vote for him during the plebiscite for the 14 provinces and the 9 cities.
One more question, sir. The Kabulnan and the Malmar, they are the main beneficiaries. What is the status of these projects now?
Our project is now ongoing. General Soriano, although the funding for Malmar was stopped by the Japanese government, because it comes from the OECF, and the only thing that the government of Japan would release and resume the funding for that is this July 18 agreement on a comprehensive ceasefire. But even before that already, there was already a very strong indication of peace and orderliness in Malmar. In fact, General Soriano talked already with the MILF commander there, Commander Manalos. And Commander Manalos was asked to come back, including his people. And General Soriano irrigated the first 2,000 hectares in Malitubog and Marilagao area, first 2,000 hectares, and gave 30 carabaos to the MILF. So that is it. In Cabulnan, also the irrigation project there and the oil exploration project is going on properly. If this is still being secured by our forces, the 6th Division.
Thank you, sir.
Now, we already talked about the Islamic communities in the autonomous regions. Also, Lord Iswari as the chairman of the ARM and the PCPD. Now, sir, my question is, what would be the parameter of an autonomy that will be hopefully created in case there will be an agreement between the GRP and the MILF?
Organic Act that has been already submitted by the Joint Monitoring Committee of the for the implementation of GRP MILF agreement is already sent to Congress, and Congress is deliberating on this, which is an organic act that would include all the 14 provinces and the 9 cities, that includes Palawan and the other provinces. Now, this is going to be, even if Congress passes this will be handed down to the people for a plebiscite. This is where a problem will come. Whether the Christian provinces will opt to be part of that regional autonomy, or even you might, unfortunately, could happen that the 4 provinces right now that is part of the autonomy may not vote anymore for the autonomy. Because, as I said, Miswari is not looking after the welfare of these 4 provinces. What I understand is that Miswari has not even called for a meeting for these four governors. They have been complaining that Miswari has not met with them officially. Ito, oh pare, ano ba? Kumusta ka ba dyan? Ano ba matutulong ko? Ganun. Wala kasi sinasabing ganun. He's not. If ever Miswari will meet the 4 governors, it is at the initiation of the central government, of the national government. That's why they are able to meet. But not on his own initiative. See? Now, you have already an experience of 3 regional governments. The first regional government was headed by Maguindanao, Governor Candao. It did not show any kind of progress or any kind of achievement. The second regional government was headed by Maranao, Pangandaman, and no progress also. Now the third is headed by Tausug, Nur Miswari. And here we have a very high hope because Nur Miswari is the only regional governor that is supported fully by the central government, by Malacanang. See? And yet, it is not showing also the kind of achievement that it should have. See? Now, I should like to tell you that the Muslims are one cultural ethnic group. But among them, there are differences in social and cultural characteristics. The Maguindanao is different from the Maranao, is different from the Tausug. You cannot let a Maguindanao rule a Tausug, nor a Maranao rule a Maguindanao. They are different. And so, that is the reason why, if you put a Maguindanao to rule over Maranao and Tausug, no achievement. Maranao can rule them. Now, the Tausug, supported, fully supported, and yet nothing is happening, you see. What should be the best? Why don't you autonomize the Maguindanaos, autonomize the Maranaos, autonomize the Tausugs, give them equitable resources, and look at them, and find out how they can develop their own respective areas. Perhaps they will be in a better position because Maranao can develop his own place, the Maguindanaos can develop their own place, and so will the Tausug. This is the reason for the for the division of a very big Cotabato before. Cotabato was a huge province. It is the biggest province of Mindanao. And it is always ruled by a Muslim. The last ruler was Datu Matalam, Tug Matalam. Okay? He was the last one. And that was the only time when Colonel Cahelo took over during an election. But you see, after the Semcom campaign, August, we divided Maguindanao, the province of Cotabato into 3 provinces. Initially, before that, the only progressing community was Cotabato City. Now, after it was divided, you have North Cotabato as the purely Christian province, with capital in Kinabawan. You have the Maguindanao with capital in Sultan Kudarat. And then you have the province of Sultan Kudarat. Maguindanao is purely Muslim. Sultan Kudarat is Muslim Christian province. And you see them now, they are all progressing. See? They are all progressing because at least the resources are divided and given to the right people who can really develop their own particular areas. This is true now for the regional autonomy. I don't know what will happen, but as I said, it could happen that during the plebiscite after '98, there will be they will select whether they will be part of a regional government, a regional autonomous government. You know what could happen if the 4 provinces will not opt to join the autonomous government? You will have a Christian Christian autonomous Muslim area, a Christian autonomy, a Muslim autonomy headed by a Christian. That is what is going to happen if we will push this through. So it is up for Ms. Wari now to work hard, see, and to develop strong relations with his own people and show that he is the real leader and spokesman of the Muslim.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I am Colonel Simon from Indonesia. This news, BBC, I hear many people from MNLF joined to the MILF. So they disagree to government and Missouri. So that's they joined to the Mindanao Islamic Liberation Front. They disagree because government less attention to them to develop. So that means rise up, new problem in the GRP and MILF. Please talk. What is the stand of the government on this matter?
MNLF, because they were not, no attention was paid to them in as far as the agreement with the MNLF is concerned. It was said, it was reported that some of these MNLF were joining the MILF. Okay? But the MILF says, no, they are not joining us because we are selective in the people who are going to join us. We need to say, perhaps there are MNLF joining them, but the MILF's leadership is saying also that they are selective. And so not all of those who would like to join can really join the MILF. See? Now, what happens here is that it is not really government inattention. I would say that we have already started to look after the livelihood of those who have not yet, who were not identified to be integrated into the armed forces of the Philippines as well as to the PNP. Of course, not all of them can immediately be integrated, but I think that eventually many of them will be integrated because we are supposed to integrate 5,500 for the armed forces and for the PNP 2,500, something like that. But right now, we have only 1,000 for candidate soldiers and 100 or so for candidate officers. So this is a slow process, and therefore the others, while they are not being paid attention, it is not really being paid attention to. Livelihood is being implemented for each one of these groups of the MNLF, so that they will not scatter around. In fact, it is good now that they are not moving around with their firearms. See? They are all in their respective camps, and we would like to thank also the monitoring committee that has been sent by your government. General Abidin now is the one that is heading that, and in fact the strength of that group has been reduced. Instead of 15, it is now only 10, showing that the situation is improving. And we should like to thank your government for that.
Okay, last three questions.
Colonel Panadua, sir. Sir, why is it that the peace talks in Mindanao was taken by piecemeal? MNLF first, then followed by MINF, when we know for a fact that the MILF has the bigger force?
At the time they factionalized, the MILF was not really the bigger force. It was still the MNLF that is the big force that is headed by Nur Mishwari. Now the thing is that we were not able to talk immediately to two of them because during that time, in the early 84, there was already a split, you see, between the MNLF and the MILF based on ideology and based also on the approach on how to deal with the government. Now, within the MNLF itself, they are not also united in as far as the approach on how to deal with the government. That is why there are recalcitrants among the old MNLF. The very first commanders of Nur Mishwari, who are in Sulu, were disappointed about Nur Mishwari because Nur Mishwari did not consider them, nor Nur Mishwari considered the MILF during the talks with the MNLF. What they were saying was that they could have been informed, or they could have gotten representations from these split organizations like the MILF, the Magic 8, and gotten them into the stream of negotiation with the government. That is their disappointment, that is their frustration.
Okay, sir, my question was, why is it meal, I should say, why did you not take Salamat and Nur Mishwari sit at the table of the GRP?
You know, historically, Nur Mishwari was Cessation. Salamat, when he split, was the moderate one. He was for autonomy. Okay? And so during the time of Marcos, we were looking for Qasim Salamat to talk to him already. But the OIC was stronger in trying to force Nur Mishwari over us as the real spokesman and the leader of the Muslim society. At that time, Nur Mishwari was the more aggressive one. Qasim Salamat was not, was the moderate one. Now, you said that MILF is stronger now. I don't think so.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay, the penultimate.
Have benefited from war. That is a theory. The armed forces has done its role. According to General Orgelio, it served as a very good training ground for the armed forces. And naturally, it saps the resources of the government. Now, the second phase would be to develop the area so that the fruits of the armed forces undertakings would be achieved, hopefully. Personally, it is a worrisome or a dilemma that what if our counterpart agency would fail on this crucial phase, sir. What can the ambassador say about this, sir?
By a military solution. The military solution is merely a palliative for a temporary solution to the problem. But the real solution, the long-term solution for this, is really what you say, development. And this kind of development must be able to enter into the area, to the arena of conflict immediately after the resolution of the problem by the military, because this is only, as I said, temporary. But right now, it cannot be said also that the government has some lapses in as far as providing for the development of these areas. In fact, if you will start counting how much resources have been given to the Muslim area, especially, the Muslim area would sink because of the heaviness of the resources already that has been placed. But what is the problem? The problem is politics, the Muslim politicians themselves, you see. I will tell you some experiences. Before the Office of Muslim Affairs used to get scholarships, the only ethnic group that could get big number of scholarships are the Muslims. Malaki ang scholarship na yan. You have a long list of thousands of scholars going to the different schools. But the list is there, the money is there, but you can count on the hands, in your hands, how many people are going to school. And what happens to the others? See? So again, the problem is how the Muslims are handling all of these things, you see. It is not with the Christians. The problem is not with us. The problem is within. I said, now look with the regional autonomy now of Nur Mishwari. Nur Mishwari, I met one time, and he was very proud to tell me, Your Excellency, I went to the Batasan Pambansa like a conqueror. That was during the budget hearing. Huh? I went there like a conqueror. In 10 minutes, my budget was approved. And who were the ones who sponsored this budget? The Three Marias were the ones who sponsored the budget. Because these people, these Three Marias, were really going to test Mishwari on how Mishwari is going to handle these funds. But as I said, right now, you cannot see anything for development in as far as those funds is concerned.
Well, sir, we understand that, sir. That's why it is the armed forces that seemingly will shoulder the brunt as we face onward for development.
No, we are not shouldering the brunt. We are shouldering the brunt because of peace and order. But as far as development is concerned, we have nothing to do with it. We are only there to secure the development. You see?
We need retired generals to take over the political arena, sir.
I lost in the election. I was with Miriam Santiago. Yeah, you know, I joined Miriam because his movement, the movement for good government. Because when I retired, I was really looking at reforms. I think we should really reform our country. We should regiment our government. We should regiment our people. It is the lack of discipline that we have that retards our progress, you see. So, kailangan na regimentation. Sabi nila, regimentation or authoritarianism is dictatorship. It's not. When you say authoritarian, meaning to say that the authority, the president, has the full power to use his authority and firm hand to implement the laws equitably among all the people, irrespective of what political party you belong, whether you're this religious, you belong to this religious group, cultural group, or whatever. The thing is that as a leader, you must be able to equitably divide your resources in order to benefit all the people. So you need, what do you need? Regimentation. You regiment your people. Look at, you control the transportation, buses and one, they go on a strike. Is that a discipline? See? You stop all of this, you tell them to follow traffic regulations, they go on a strike. Now, what can government do? There are laws that the government can do. You don't have to ask for emergency powers. You don't have to ask for anything. There are a lot of good laws that have to be implemented. The trouble with government, now, tayo, no? We have been in government governing ourselves for the past 50, 40 years, something like that, 1947. We became independent, okay. But what is our experience in governance, in governing our people? Only 8 years. Because the longest time a president before can hold is 8 years. 4 years the first and 4 years the re-election. That is how long a president or an authority can hold office. After that, a new administration comes in. What does the new administration do? He discards what the last administration did. He starts again from the beginning, from square one. So every time an administration comes in, we always start at square one. We are not progressing, you know. That is the kind of government that we have. You see? That's why I said there should be a law to see to it that the next administration should recognize the achievements of the last, if there are. So, the past administration, in order to be progressive. Oh, no.
Sir, an SF team leader during your SEMCOM days will ask the final question. Colonel Ramos, sir.
Sir, when the government of the Republic of the Philippines entered into an agreement with the MNLF, the MILF was just left relegated to the background. That led to the problem of the MILF. And now that the government of the Republic is talking peace with the MILF headed by the Honorable Ambassador, in one of the conferences held at Simoy Crossing, the MNLF developed that suspicion that the MILF might get more concession than the MNLF. Do you foresee a problem on this?
Agreement with the MNLF, and that should be implemented as an agreement. We cannot do away with that. Now, as far as the MILF is concerned, they do not recognize this agreement with the MNLF. But as I said, as I was telling you, the issues that they are propounding to us are not really the same issues as the MNLF has been asking, has gotten out from government. In fact, the MNLF got many things from us, the MNLF, napakarami. But the MILF has only a few issues, and most of these are political, economic, cultural issues. Now, one of these issues, I say, is that they should like to participate in decision-making levels of the government, whether it is political, economic, social. They would like to be there. In fact, I was even thinking, I was joking some people in the Defense Department and some of you.
5 strong, Class 03-98, may extend to you our sincere thanks and gratitude for joining us in this important forum. Indeed, you have crystallized the issues and underpinnings of the GRP-MILF peace negotiation and a host of related issues, including your own unenlightened officers. Again, thank you, sir, and more power. Send a memento as a tribute to your visit.
Sir, we thank you very much. We wish you the best.
Our activity. Thank you.